all free.
You're listening to Screen Break with Martin Kelner and Will Buckley.
So, Will, Marty Supreme.
Yes.
You gave me a completely wrong impression of this. Well, I knew it was a table tennis movie.
Well, yes.
That's fine. But when you were talking about it, you were talking about the sort of the golden days of table tennis and the fact how they transitioned from just ordinary hard-backed paddles to sponge-backed paddles. And you were talking about the long rallies and a guy taking an 8-inch pork sausage out of his...
Oh, that's not in the film.
No, well, that's yeah, and all the stuff about a guy playing chess at the same time. I thought to myself, why is none of this in the movie?
Well, did you keep waiting for it to happen?
Yeah, I was waiting for somebody to take a sausage out of the pocket. I was waiting, but I did enjoy the film. I thought the film was excellent, although too long. Everything is too long these days.
What would you have cut out of it?
I would have cut out at least one of the sequences where he was trying to get money from somebody and, set fire to the gas station. Maybe we could have done with one fewer of the sequences with the dog.
Yeah,
maybe
I think you could have cut.
I would have cut a good 45 minutes to an hour out of that movie. I know the idea was, in a way, you set up the idea when you talked about the long rallies they used to have, so it would go on and on and on, and that.
I obviously ruined the movie for you. You have to. You can read my piece on it. Google Will Buckley long rallies, and it might come up. Will Buckley, Marty Reisman. It'll come
Marty
up.
Reisman. So he was the guy on which. So you didn't. You see, you obviously had an insight into Marty Reisman, who's the character on which Marty Supreme is based.
Very loosely.
Very, very loosely, isn't it? One thing that I got out of the movie, which you wouldn't have got out of the movie, as an old DJ, was when they were doing the Harlem Globetrotters sequence, the tune that was playing in the background was Everybody's Got to Learn Sometime, and I know who it's by. You wouldn't.
The Supremes?
No, the Corgis with a K. A very short-lived sort of 80s band. But I say short-lived, they're probably still going and maybe quite popular. But they were a sort of Beatles-esque band from the 80s, or early 90s possibly. Everything is too bloody long these days. Streaming things, they're 8 episodes or they're 10 episodes, or they're too many. And then films, they're 2-3 hours long. I think if a film wants to be an Oscar contender, which clearly Marty Supreme is aiming to be, they expand it. They make it too long. They think, if it's 2 hours 50 minutes long, people will think this is an important film and therefore worthy of winning an Oscar.
I thought it was amazing the cast you got together. Gwyneth Paltrow, that was pretty cool.
She was great.
She was
what
fantastic.
A great idea, casting her as the sort of slightly washed-up actress. Brilliant.
She's one of the great performance artists of her generation, I think.
I think you're right. See,
people laugh at her and say how silly she is. She's she's just taking the piss. She's just thinking, what could I sell? Could I possibly sell that? Imagine the Ferrari if I managed to sell that. It's perfect. It's genius.
Yes. No, I'm with you 100% on that. I always think myself and Gwyneth Paltrow are very much in the same area we're both content creators, you see. She's creating it a little more successfully than I am, but she's still a content creator. Alfred Hitchcock said no film should last longer than the capacity of the human bladder. Admittedly, that changes as you get a bit older. You know, the films would have to...
Well, you could also have taken a break during one of the scenes you'd have cut.
I'm very anal about movies. I do like to see them right from... A little bit like Woody Allen in Annie Hall. I like to see them right from the start, right to the end. See,
From the soup to the nuts.
Yeah, soup to the nuts, absolutely.
So how much of the end of Marty Supreme were you scrunched up, thinking more about your bladder than what's going on screen?
No, fine. I went beforehand... Do you need to go to the toilet? Yes, I will. So I went to the toilet, so I was fine. I lasted, but I was irritated that it was longer than it need be. It struck me as one of those films that's quite dazzling when you see it, and you think, oh, that's going to win an Oscar, so, which I'm sure it will. But then, like many Oscar winners, who gives a shit afterwards? Do you know what I mean? 5 years after it's won the Oscar. The Shape of Water, who cares? All those. Parasite, fuck it.
It was a good film, anyhow.
Yeah, was it? You don't go to the pictures much, though, do you?
I go quite often.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Where'd you go, the Camden Plaza?
Everyman.
The Everyman. Oh, so you're most comfortable. Do you sit on the... I've been to the Everyman at Baker Street once or twice, where they I don't know whether they still have them, but they had those sort of like lounge, well, like sitting on a sofa type thing.
It is, yeah. Very nice.
And then you have to sit next to somebody that you don't know on a sofa.
I thought that's how you were meeting people these days, Martin.
Here's an interesting story, Will.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting story. A train worker. Because I use LNER, London North Eastern Railway, quite a lot. That's my main line down to London. I don't travel first class, but interesting thing about the food service here. A train worker who was sacked after serving sausage rolls taken from a bin to first class passengers said that he had, quotes, gone too far for the customer. A colleague of this guy reported hearing laughter from the train's kitchen before the food was served. And made a complaint after noticing that the bin was empty when they'd been told, so it was an empty bin. It was just a couple of sausage rolls in. And I don't see that. So it's a whole plot strand in an episode of Seinfeld. George eats an eclair or something out of the bin.
We've all taken things out of the bin.
We've all taken things out of the bin.
And if it was an empty bin, what's the difference between an empty bin and a plastic bag?
Precisely. Well, maybe we can...
who was the colleague who dobbed him in?
I don't know.
Nasty.
Yeah, precisely. You're a lawyer.
Could be a case.
Could be.
Better call Will.
What about Graham Swan? Now, how
where did that come from? Okay.
What did you feel about Graham? Because you're a cricket fan, you're a member of the MCC. What did you feel about Graham Swan as a player?
Combative,
decent player.
Yeah, he was all right.
Was all right, but nothing special.
No, I don't. No, kept an end tied down.
Well, he was in one of those.
Didn't he do something weird to escape a drink driving charge?
He may very well have done, but you're a lawyer, Will.
Yeah, maybe we didn't go there. Okay, you're the one who can Google and talk at the same time. One of your many skills.
Well, I could do, but I'm halfway through reading a play that my daughter has written.
Okay.
And I don't want to lose my place in it.
Not a voyage round my father.
I'm reading on my phone. No, not exactly that.
Anyhow, what do you want to say about Graham Swan, Marsh?
Well, it was one of those. The last podcast we did, you were talking about these features they used to have in Shoot magazine, your hardest opponent, and favourite film, and all that sort of Rocky 2. Well, they did one of those features in the Sunday Times sports section. My guilty pleasure. This is Graham Swan. What do you think is guilty? His guilty pleasure is having a few pints and getting his... No. Well, we don't know. We'll Google it afterwards. Graham Swan, his guilty pleasure, as a member of the MCC, you might even know this, Graham Swan says his guilty pleasure is cinema pick and mix. So like you and me, he likes to go to the cinema. He says, cinema pick and mix. I drive to Nottingham's Showcase Cinema, buy some, and walk away without seeing a film. I need help, writes Graham Swan. But that is... What do you eat in the cinema?
I don't. You're not one of those people who eats in the cinema.
Yeah, it's a big treat for me because as a type 2 diabetic, if I eat sweets at home, my missus will, oh, you're diabetic, you shouldn't be eating those. But in the cinema, in the dark, I can get a whole...
So I'm just thinking your whole life's changed now. You're using the everyman as a potential pickup joint. So you get there. Which sofa do you go for? Do you go for the luxury sofa? Do you just get one seat? Which is your luckiest sofa so far in the Wakefield Everyman?
There isn't a Wakefield Everyman. There is a Leeds.
Surely not.
There is
Leeds.
a Leeds
You can
Everyman.
get to Leeds. Okay. So you get to Leeds, and then you go and get your pick and mix because you're hoping to share that, yeah? So what sweets do you buy for a potential partner as yet unspecified? Or we don't know the gender, but I don't suppose that matters much at your age.
No.
And then you're worried, of course, about needing to go to the loo. So you need an aisle sofa so you can get out quickly.
Chocolate Brazils would be my...
Chocolate Brazils, they're quite noisy.
I do like chocolate. I don't like to suck the chocolate off them.
Really? Now, this whole image of you and an everyman's getting very, very
No, I don't. I
grim.
mean,
Sucking the chocolate off a Brazil.
I very rarely go to the Everyman.
Well, casually putting your left arm around a complete stranger.
I'm not sure they still do that. They certainly did it at Baker Street. The Everyman in Leeds, I'm not sure. It's a bigger cinema. The Everyman in Baker Street is sort of quite bijou. Mm-hmm. And Baker Street is the sort of place I said the Everyman Baker Street. You expect to meet Kenneth Williams in there. Not now. Obviously.
On the sofa.
Yes.
Is that what you're hoping for? That's not going to happen, Martin.
No.
Okay, I found the Graham Swan incident.
Yes.
Yeah, reason for driving: to buy screwdrivers from Asda to rescue his cat stuck under floorboards after builders left.
Oh, excellent.
Cat saver.
Excellent. What was the outcome?
He said the blood sample was contaminated.
Right, but what happened? What was the
Not
end of the
guilty.
case? Oh, he's not guilty. Brilliant.
Not guilty, but great excuse. I mean, how did the cat get stuck under the floorboards?
Yeah, well, I'm not a cat owner. I mean, you probably got a
no,
cat.
I don't have. No, not at all. No, but I mean, just think about it. Use your imagination for once, Martin.
Oh, like that for once. I love the way you slipped that in. Will,
yes.
I want to know a little bit more about these parakeets. It's been worrying me. I sort of let it slide last time, but you said your stepfather had a gun, an air gun or something, and he was shooting parakeets.
Yeah.
Who are these parakeets, and are they dead? And tell me more about the parakeets.
He didn't hit one while I was there.
Right.
Well,
who has the parakeets? Is this your mother?
No, they've got a garden.
They've got a garden with
parakeets. Fly outside, Martin. They're not like the cat underneath the floorboards. What did you think? You're thinking
I thought they
were
caged birds.
That's parrots.
Well, I know parrots, but I thought parakeets as well.
Oh dear. The age is no, totally different bird of a feather or whatever.
So parakeets are sort of like birds that you see in the garden.
Yellowy green.
Right. Well, we don't see them.
Quite noisy.
Here.
No, they're southern.
Ah.
They get as far as London and think that's fair enough. I don't think they bother coming up to Wakefield.
No, a bit like my friend Paul. He used to. He always said he would never. If he got as far as Mill Hill, he saw a nosebleed. He couldn't. Which is bizarre for somebody who I worked with in Sheffield and who went to Manchester University.
That must be your friend Paul that you mentioned, who gets acknowledged for some rather good jokes.
Yes.
And to your agent, I never knew you had an agent, Roger Davis.
Yes, right. I don't think he's any longer with us. He represents.
Just because you're not getting work doesn't mean he's not alive.
That's true. I haven't heard from him for 20 years, so probably he's not alive. I don't know. Maybe he is alive. Maybe he's very successful. I don't know.
You thank him for the gig he got you 4 years ago.
Yeah, that was
that's 29 years ago.
Yeah, it would be something like that.
So he's not really living off the income he's making from you.
No, neither am I.
But he wised you up to certain aspects of show business. Expand.
I think what he said to me was, right, the first thing I ever did he only got me gigs like sort of after dinner speaking, that sort of thing, right?
Did you do after dinner speaking?
I've done a bit of that, yeah.
Crikey.
Not for years, but I have done a bit.
Painfully funny. Is that the best you could get?
Now, at this point, what you need to know is that Will has got himself a copy of my book, When Will I Be Famous, published in 2003, and he's sort of going through it in not the kindest of manners, I have to say, but I thought we'd skip over a bit of this, and it covers up a whole load of persiflage. So let's rejoin Will at that point. No, I think there's one or two other quotes there which were reasonably complimentary.
There's one other quote.
Is there? Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Anarchic, Gillian Reynolds, Daily Telegraph.
Did John Ronson not give me a quote? I think he did.
No. Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Buried away at the back.
Yeah.
A warm, funny and affectionate journey.
Funny, affectionate. That'll do.
Yeah, but it's the kickers, the next bit, Martin.
Go on then.
Into the chilly backwoods of celebrity.
Yeah.
A world I fear Martin Kelner knows only too well.
God bless him.
Which was the chilliest backwood of celebrity that you found yourself in?
Oh, they were all pretty chilly. I think Benidorm was a pretty chilly backwood. But it's a long bloody time ago, Will. This is unnecessary archaeology going on here.
No, it's interesting. It's not often you get to meet someone who's written a book for BBC Books.
Yeah.
Here's a trivia question for you.
Yep.
Clearly, I bought it in a charity shop, I think.
No, I'm sure I signed it for you, but go on.
It's not signed. Which public library was it withdrawn from, my copy?
Cardiff.
Lower.
Lower than Cardiff. Penzance.
No, not literally lower. I'm sort of thinking it's difficult.
Huddersfield District Library, middle of the country. Middlesbrough.
Your book, When Will I Be Famous, was insufficiently loaned in Middlesbrough.
Does it say insufficiently loaned, or you just made that yourself?
Why else would they withdraw it?
They would withdraw it because it would have been superseded by other books that I'd written. It's not Harry Potter, they don't keep the whole lot.
Well, surely a fan of When Will I Be Famous, the painfully funny When Will I Be Famous, would be looking out, going to Mark K in the which section would it have been in, do you think? Fiction, autobiography, how to?
Self-help.
Self-help, yeah.
So you didn't, you just looked at the cover?
No, I read your chapter about hypnosis. Where you went to meet Andrew Newton.
Yes. Oh, well, that's a pretty decent chapter, is it?
It's a pretty good chapter, yeah. Because I worked for Paul McKenna, who he didn't like.
No, he didn't like Paul McKenna. Well, Paul McKenna stole his act. Allegedly.
He did.
Allegedly. You're a lawyer, for God's sake.
But they had you missed the story here.
Did
surprisingly.
I?
Yeah, there we go.
Go on, tell me how I missed the story.
They did a deal in the end. They had a line from the Wash to Cardiff, and Newton was able to do anywhere north of there, and McKenna was able to do anywhere south of there.
I think that deal may have been struck after I wrote the book. Because McKenna did sort of change his business from being a stage hypnotist. McKenna ditched all that stage hypnotism stuff, make a noise like a chicken. He ditched all that and became a therapist because he tried to cure my brother from smoking. My brother, I think as a newspaper piece or whatever, what is it you're fiddling around with there? You've got your coffee percolator.
Coffee, water, yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is unprofessional, Will. This is unprofessional.
So when you're going to the Everyman Cinema for your sort of dating, what kind of movie are you going to go for?
I'll go and see, just something that's been generally favourably reviewed, but not in the Times so much. The Times do give quite complimentary. Kevin Marr, he's called. Do you know Kevin from the Times?
I don't rate him as a critic.
I'll tell you who I like as a critic, Brian Viner. He never fails to turn up for an interview when I want to do an interview about movies in general. Kevin Marr, meanwhile, in the Times, gave what I believe was a 4-star review to J. Kelly, which is George Clooney's latest film.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure you haven't seen.
I haven't seen.
Oh, well, you've done yourself a favour there.
Did you get any sofa action?
It is abysmal. Abysmal. Forget the Everyman. I only went there once in Baker Street. Well, I have been a couple of times in Leeds, but I'm not sure they have the sofas in Leeds.
How many chocolate Brazils do you get through in a movie?
Not many. It's about a quarter of a pound or 100 grams, as they call it these days.
And in London, you get a 4-course meal. They sort of turned it into a restaurant, which can be very irritating.
Oh, it's ridiculous irritating. They do that in... I went to the cinema in Tel Aviv some years ago, yeah. And they pass around sandwiches on the front, oh, a pickle in that. And they pass them round.
Pickle? Why were they speaking Yorkshire accents in Tel Aviv?
Yorkshire? I haven't got a Yorkshire accent. I've never heard Yorkshire. I'm not from Yorkshire. I'm from Manchester.
I know, but your accent,
your
accent went over the Pennines, sir.
No, it didn't.
The word pickle. I don't believe you got pickle sandwiches in Tel Aviv.
Yeah, of course they do. No, not pickle sandwiches, but, they have some sort of roast meat, some pastrami and a pickle in it. Yeah, and I was there. And they were
you were there? I was there when the pickle
Yes.
sandwiches came round in Tel Aviv.
Yes, I was.
When will you be famous? Very shortly, with anecdotes like that.
Right, tell me about... Well, you see, you've misread the title as not when will I be famous, not me being famous. That's why your whole setup from last time was completely wrong. It was these people who, like Andrew Newton, like Chrissy Rock and various other people, who were asking the question, when will I be famous? There's a different chapter on different people.
But you say that, yeah? But subconsciously, Martin, come on, what's going on here, yeah?
No, you did the same with Marty Supreme. I never
subconsciously, this is just transference going on. When will I be famous? The clue's in the bloody title, yeah? It's a question. Martin Kelner, when will I be famous? ? Painfully funny Dave Gorman, yeah?
I don't think there's a question
You are going round.
In it.
There is.
Is there? I don't know. It's a long time since I've seen it. Hang on, I'll get a copy.
There's a dangling question mark. That's interesting piece of dead time. I suppose you can cut that.
I have a copy. Yes, of course I can cut it. I have a copy here, and you're right. There is a question mark in it. I didn't design the cover though.
No, but you presumably came up with the title. Is it a rogue question mark? Did they add it?
I think they did. I think they've added the question mark.
Nevertheless, my point holds. What I read this book as is you.
Very interesting. You're reading it. How much did you read of it?
I've read one chapter. I'm considering my options. Given that you hadn't had a gig for 4 years due to Roger Davis's indolence, I read this book as you attempting going to see all these different worlds, hypnotism, cruise ships, Benidorm, etc., to see if it's a possible career for you.
No, I got a fairly decent advance for the book, and I maybe wrote a couple of newspaper features, based roughly on where I'd been and what I'd done. So it was just a way of filling the time and earning a bit of money, as I recall.
But anyhow, highly recommended.
Is it? Didn't sound like it from what you were saying. So what chapter did you read?
I told you, the one on hypnotism.
Oh, Going Under.
Going Under, yeah.
Forget all that Vincent Price bullshit. Actually, it seems quite good.
It holds up.
Yeah.
The librarian in Middlesbrough made a mistake. That's what my review would be.
Yeah, absolutely. come on, Middlesbrough. Show a bit of taste. God's sake. So these days, right, so I would pitch to a newspaper, go to Benidorm, write an article about comedians, and they say, oh, great idea, go and do it. These days, let me read you the headline of a feature in the Times. We're splurging on hand soap, matcha lattes, collagen and high-tech trainers. So what? Asks Hannah Evans. And this is how everybody is buying matcha lattes and hand soap and collagen. And the Times also have the idea that everybody's on slimming jabs. Everybody's on weight loss jabs. You cannot pick up...
Why are they suddenly buying hand soap?
Yeah, precisely.
What are they using the hand soap for?
Well, I presume washing the hands, but mean...
But that wouldn't lead to a spike. You don't wash your hands more often in January. So there must be some hidden...
The spike in hand washing was during COVID.
Indeed.
Because they told you wash your hands to the tune of, was it Happy Birthday? What was the government had some advice.
It was, wasn't it? Happy, yeah.
Yes, and you have a Happy Birthday. You have to do the whole song.
Very strange times, actually.
Oh, really strange times. Have you ever tried, if you're in one of those bathrooms that's got a mirror and you're washing your hands...
Have you found a bathroom without a mirror? I can see why you'd want one, but...
Right, so you've got the mirror in front of you, you're washing your hands and you're singing Happy Birthday. Happy birthday. You just look like a fucking serial killer. You look in the mirror and you're singing Happy Birthday.
With your hand soap.
With your hand soap, yeah. But anyway...
Serial killers do probably wash their hands more often than the normal person.
Yeah, well, they do.
Pontius Pilate, the guilt as well, washing away the guilt.
Yeah. Here's one from here's a letter in the Times. Nobody writes letters in newspapers these days. But Mark Lowe, KC, so like yourself, well, you're a QC rather than a KC, but Mark Lowe, KC, of Burnham Norton in Norfolk, he's one of your fellow Norfolk people. Yeah. Has written a letter to the Times.
You built this up brilliantly. I'm quite excited now, Mark.
Yeah. That letter at the foot of the column, in private eye they used to call the Mike Giggler letter. It's the Mike Giggler letter. So,
it's never funny, is it?
No. There's even less these days because, fewer people write letters. Anyway, Sir... writes Mark Lowe, KC of Burnham Norton. Do you like Burnham Norton's one of those places that Alan Partridge would get callers from on his radio show when he was doing North Norfolk Digital. Mm-hmm. Is Burnham Norton North Norfolk or?
Well, yeah, it's probably near Burnham, isn't it? Which I think's in North Norfolk.
Right, fair enough. I would just
sounds like it almost could be a name of a serial killer or someone who uses a lot of hand soap. Burnham Norton.
Burnham Norton. Yeah.
Burnham Norton's coming for dinner. Ooh.
That's a great play for it. That Burnham Norton's coming for dinner. Fuck me, there's going to be a lot of editing in this one. Right.
Mainly of your stuff, I'm afraid.
Oh, there'd be a bit of myself, but there'd be a lot of you edited out of this, Will.
You've done all the talking. Come on, Burnham Norton.
Burnham Norton, right. This is what Mark Lowe, KC of Burnham Norton in Norfolk wrote.
Have you got a copy of When Will I Be Famous ? In front of you?
Yes, I have now.
Because the librarian didn't only withdraw your book, he seems to have defaced it.
You mean in the style of... Who was the guy from Leicester? Joe Orton, in the style of Joe Orton and his mate Kenneth Halliwell.
Well, the first 2 pages have been torn out. Before the dedication. What's on the pages before the dedication?
Let's see. Oh, nothing. It's just published by BBC Worldwide Limited. Martin Kelner 2003. So it's actually only 23 years old. I thought it was about 25 years old. Commissioning editor Ben Dunn. Yeah, Ben, I remember him. He was from Virgin Books.
He was. I think I worked with Ben Dunn at once.
Oh, did you? What is he? He's still with us, isn't he? Unlike Roger Davis. Yeah. What?
I'm not going to go. No.
Do you know anything about Ben Dunn?
Not that.
Not repeatable.
Not really. No.
Why are all your stories so scandalous? You can't tell any of them.
I think Ben Dunn may have been allegedly.
Yeah.
used to go on Amazon and write bad reviews of his own authors if they pissed him off.
Oh, that was interesting. I used to do that. I used to write reviews on Amazon. I've written bad reviews on my, When Will I Be Famous? I reviewed When Will I Be Famous on Amazon, because in those days you could. There was no, it was a lot easier. The internet was a lot sort of easier platform in those days. So I've done that. But Ben Dunn, I went out for... Ben Dunn was commissioning me to write a book about Lee Sharp, which I mentioned to you before, I think. I never wrote the book.
No.
But I did have a meeting with Ben Dunn and Lee Sharp.
How did that go? Why? You're not obvious choice to write the Lee Sharp. Was his book called When Will I Be Famous as well?
No, it was going to be called Football Addict. I must have told you these stories before. I went over to Iceland to interview Lee Sharp. He was playing for Grindavik. Now, Grindavik, I think, has since been almost...
It's a long way to go to see Lee Sharp.
Yeah. Well, he was playing for them.
Okay.
That was colour. That was real colour. I wrote a piece for somewhere or other. But he was playing in Grindavik, right on the edge of Iceland, which I think has now been almost flattened by a volcano. But yeah, so I had this meeting with Ben Dunn and Lee Sharp, and Lee Sharp reckoned he'd slept with about 1,000 women.
Okay.
And Ben Dunn said
And the book was called Football Addict.
And Ben Dunn said he'd only slept with 2 women in his whole life.
Right.
Anyway, as we were discussing this...
So are you nearer Ben Dunn or Lee Sharp?
I'm nearer Lee Sharp. Nearer Ben Dunn than Lee Sharp. Yeah, in terms of my skill on the left wing, I'm nearer to Lee Sharp, but in terms of the amount of women I've slept with, it would be rather much nearer.
Your initial answer was Lee Sharp.
Yeah,
which just makes me think...
The real answer is Ben Dunn. Anyway, I thought you were talking about football.
Seen a lot of action.
I thought you were talking about football.
No, you were talking
so
about...
Anyway, so Ben Dunn... Right. So Lee, who at the time had a steady girlfriend, said, I don't know whether I'd want you to put that thing about sleeping with 1,000 women in the book. So I said, how about if I put between them Ben Dunn and Lee Sharp had slept with 1,002 women, and that would make it sound more like... Anyway, it was a light-hearted suggestion, and in the end I never wrote the book, but I did write a piece about Lee Sharp being Grindavik. Very talented footballer, though.
Yeah.
Extremely talented footballer, but fell out with Alex Ferguson, and there's sort of no way back after that, is there?
No, you can't come back from that.
No, and he didn't. He played all right for Leeds for a bit, and then for Bradford, and it just went down the scale.
And he ended up in Grindavik. Grindavik. Did you look around for showbiz? I mean, talk about the chilly backwards of celebrity. Grindavik must be...
You're crackling a bit at your end. I think it is at your end. Anyway, you're probably interested to know what Mark Lowe, KC of Burnham Norton, in Norfolk, wrote in the Times.
Cliffhanger, yes.
Yeah. He says, as I was settling down in bed last night at about 10:30 p.m, I felt
Settling down
in bed last night at about 10:30 p.m. I felt a sharp pain in the back of my upper arm, followed by another stab in the back of my shoulder. And I thought, well, if somebody, and he's clearly, obviously, a retired guy, if he's writing to the Times saying, I felt a sharp pain in the back of my upper arm, followed by another stab in the back of my shoulder, you can imagine him at the time saying, oh, fuck, that's another bloody subscription gone. That's because their big thing is keeping people alive. He says, anyway, taking off my T-shirt, I found the offender, a large wasp. Is this the earliest wasp sting of the year? A new index of global warming? Asks Mark Lowe, KC of Burnham Norton in Norfolk. So, but because the Times, their whole thing is keeping you alive.
How is it global warming? Because it was minus 12 degrees in Norfolk 3 days ago.
Well, you see, what's your problem there, Will, is you're mixing up It's the difference between climate and weather. Weather is one thing, and that can be cold, freezing, whatever. Climate is something entirely different. So you're one of these people who doesn't trust the science. Do we trust the science, Will?
So am I a weather denier?
You're a weather denier. What about, how are you with vaccines? Vaccines? I'm a bit of a vax avoider.
Are you?
Yeah, I just think leave well enough alone. They keep asking me to have all these vaxes for, because I'm an old geezer. For flu and
So you're
COVID.
a vax avoider, not a tax avoider?
No, I would like to be a tax avoider. It's quite difficult.
Earn some money to avoid.
Yeah, precisely. No, so but I'm a vax skeptic, I would call myself. Actually, more than anything else. Anyway, we've covered most of the important issues. Dave Gorman, Graham Swan, KC, whatever his name is, in
Burnham Norton,
Mark Lowe KC, and Burnham Norton. So that's left me with a lot of editing to do, Will. But
anytime, Martin.
But bless you, we'll help Marty Supreme along with its Oscar nominations. Probably.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Will, thank you so much.
Thank you, Martin.
Been a pleasure. Get yourself a USB mic.
I will do.
We'll talk again soon.
I hope so. Okay.
You've been listening to Screen Break with Martin Kelner and Will Buckley. Leave Martin and Will a review or rating, and please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can use the hashtag ScreenBreak to talk about the show on socials, and for exclusive content, head to martinkellner.substack.com.